I've got this bobbin on the inside wrapped with 26 front to end. And I've got the actual ferrite rod core in there wrapped with this same gauge. It's close to the same number of turns. Well, this sort of has like a, it's a loose coupling, sort of has a free resonance there. Still got this rod on this winding. I can take this smaller winding right here and it just runs loads better. Seems to load down the primary better. Little core is in there, and then I've got the thinner gauge wire. That's going over to this little thing over here, to the bulb. Then the thicker gauge got hooked up to this same deal here, where I get this step down current. I can do the sparky. I cut it on. It's at the lowest on time right now. So it's kind of, pretty similar to what I was doing before. But if I cut the on time up anymore, then it starts arcing over in these terminals. Alright, so that winding in there is just too crazy high of a voltage. It arcs over, so screw the bulb back in. Still it's at the lowest on time. And still get a little something out of there. Yeah, if you get some tinfoil on, so what's interesting to me about that is the not only the OCD, not wanting to kick in, so it's transferring power pretty good, but the inverter seems to run that no problem, whereas it's normally kind of difficult to get that all the way up without it struggling wanting to cut out. I can get it to cut out if I cut up enough. If I cut up both the on time and the duty, then really start cranking that thing. It's kind of funny though, the right now this guy isn't even hooked up all the way. I've just got that bulb in on this other winding. All the settings are all the way down. And even though this other leg isn't hooked up on the primary, I can still get the tiniest little sparkage going on every now and then, but I can hear it vibrating the heatsink when I short it. But yeah, I thought it was hooked up. That's why I thought it was hooked up. It just was not getting any juice, but it's because it's only one wires on it. Kind of interesting. So now let me hook up the actual other leg. Alright, so now that it's hooked up, it makes more sense. And you actually still get a little something with that one. It's basically a coupling thing. So when I got that bulb going and I'm trying to run this output too, then there's a point I can find where I short it, that the light increases just ever so slightly. And as I'm shorting it, the power goes up. So I short it, power goes up ever so slightly, light picks up, take it off, and the opposite. But it seems like if I shift this coupling around ever so slightly to something like that, then I get the opposite effect where I short it, bulb dims ever so slightly, and then the power goes down, so now I'm at 400 milliamps. And then I short it, and it goes down a little bit. So that's kind of interesting. I mean, I guess there's like an exact spot I can find where seems like it doesn't make a difference, and I could actually pull a load off here at the same time while not making too much of a change there. Kind of seems like. Because the idea is, it seems like there's a tuning that I can find where it just, this thing acts like it's not hooked up at all, so long as the output's shorted. That's kind of cool. And let me try some burst mode light. Get the strobe going. Halogen strobe. Yeah. Also, once I get up to a certain voltage, I can hear that filament in there start ringing real hard. Which explains why all these other bulbs burned out. All the filaments are gone on all those bulbs, which is why it's stupid to try to run those off this crazy high voltage. Well, you don't see a lot of people doing it because they're just going to burn them out. Kind of do need that step down. If you got a halogen robust filament, seems to take it no problem. So again, the cool thing about having a setup like this, where you tune it that way, is where as I'm doing that, the current goes down. So if I just keep it shorted like that, that's the current. Then I take it off, goes back up. So just kind of pulling something off here like that is going to actually be a little better for the circuit. Oh, that's kind of nifty.